The broadcast is now.
If anybody comes in late, they come in late. Today is June 9th. This is our 21st class. We are moving toward the end. So for those of you guys that are, which is all of you, you guys have obviously all been in the class since class 1. I do have a few that started the course, late and played catch up, but they've been in somewhere around class 6 or 7, maybe 8. So you guys have played catch up. We're at the point now in the class where this is what I typically tell everybody. If you're not getting it and you're not understanding order flow by now, this next month is when you need to ask questions. I tell this story to every class. I'll continue to tell the story. I had a guy, nice trade, Dan. I had a guy that went through the first class, 24 weeks, never asked a question, never said anything in class, never sent me an email with questions. And at the end, he said, I don't understand a single thing you did. I said, how could you go through 6 months and not ask a single question? I mean, 6 months, not one question. So if there's anybody in the room that is, here's where we're at. The next, remaining weeks we have in class, I'm basically going to go over all of our teachings, basically, from levels, continuation trades, stacked imbalances, etc. Right? Now, those of you guys that are in the room every day, you see it, and it should be, clicking. It should be, it should be starting to click for you. Okay, if it hasn't already. Okay, this is really not a difficult thing to learn, but in any event, let's get on with it. Let's get on with the bad self. The easiest trade in the planet that we do is VWAP. That is the easiest trade we will ever do. Okay? Let's see here. This is 10:05. VWAP is the easiest, peasiest trade. This is 9:30. This is trade number 1. Okay? If you learn nothing else, you can make a living simply by trading VWAP. Okay? If you learn nothing else. As I have taught you guys, whenever we break below VWAP, this is the first trade I gave this morning, 8:03. When we break below VWAP, full candle close, right? Now I use, as you guys know, a 30 range chart. Presumptively, you've all set up a 30 range chart. When we get a full candle close below VWAP in this instance, you take that short. I don't care what your Fibonacci number says. I don't care what your Gann number says. I don't care what your harmonic trading pattern is telling you. I don't care what day of the week it is. When you get a close, full candle close, not a breach, a full candle close below VWAP, you take that short. Okay? That is the short. End of story. I don't care what the delta tells you. I don't care. The question is, where do we place a stop? And I'm going to get back. I'm going to go through all of that. But for now, I'm just going to go through the basics like we did in maybe class number 4. Our first target, right? I'm always looking to reduce risk. But our target really is 1 standard deviation or the 68, okay, which we get. Now, for those of you guys, most of you guys should have all seen, the candles that I use our trend candles. If you don't own them, I think you should, because if we were trading this on a full screen, we would have had, the break at 631 with a first target at 594. Right? For those of you that may not know, these are my trend candles. Red is momentum. Orange is still short, but without momentum. Gray or blue is a possible trend change. So we don't come out of a trade unless we get a trend change or we've hit targets. And then presumptively, our next target, right, from there becomes second standard deviation, which I can't see and I'm guessing is somewhere, oh, there it is, down here, which we get. We never cross back over VWAP. But be that as it may, whenever you get a trade, a 30 range candle, you can use any time frame you want, a 1 minute, whatever. I have found 30 range to be the best for me. Whenever you get a 30 range candle that closes below VWAP, you are short. Whenever you get a 30 range candle that closes above VWAP, you are long. There's no thinking. Yes, you're going to take losing trades. No methodology is infallible. None. But these are trades you take without thought. Okay? And again, we trade into one standard deviation. Right? We get a target. It's a big target, guys. Your long is somewhere around 603 and you trade it up to 651. We then get a candle close again. These are the ones that are, this is the trade we took in the room with a 15 stop. You then get a candle close again. These are the ones that I hate. They're like a nip close. But nonetheless, it is a full candle close. Okay? It closed below VWAP. These are the ones that are a little trickier. If you go back and look here, we are well above VWAP there. And if you come back here, we're well below VWAP. This candle here is great. This candle here is kind of like a nip, but it's still a valid trade, and you take the trade. And on this, I gave the stop at 15, and it held by a single tick. If you guys were in the trade or recall that trade. Okay? And again, we get down to one standard deviation. That's trade number 3. Here's trade number 4. That's your complete close. Four trades, 4 winners around VWAP. Now again, for me personally, I am using the ATM strategy that comes with the bot, and I'm basically taking somewhere between 5 and 10 handles depending on first target. I'm generally not trying to get first target at one standard deviation. Okay? I'm always looking to reduce risk. So that's trade number 4. 4 trades, 4 winners. Trade number 5. I would probably be short that candle. Now that, maybe not. That closes right at VWAP. This candle I would be short for sure. Okay? Now I can look at this on the 30 range and say, all right, well, I know I have support right here. I've got to get down below that little swing. But I am below VWAP. Sellers are pressing. If I'm looking at my order flow, I know I have a negative delta. I get a pullback, 99 to 16, 15.75. Nonetheless, for me, my candles are still red, and I have not gone back above my 34 moving average. I don't come out of that trade, but I am short. And we get down eventually to 1 standard deviation. So what is that? 5 trades, 5 winners? This is a small first target winner, full candle close, 4 to 14, 10 handles. So if you're using the ATMs that come with the bot, which is what I use, you're out first target at 5 handles, and then you get the runner. Every single break has been a winning trade above or below VWAP. Here's a full candle close here. Just because the candle is green, I promise you it closed here at 96. And we get 1 standard deviation. The easiest trade we do is VWAP. If you guys do nothing else, if you do no other trades, okay, VWAP is the simplest trade we do. Does anybody have any questions on that? Any questions on understanding VWAP? Anybody? I mean, it's a fairly simple concept. Yep, I'm going to go over that, Veronica. I'm just asking if anybody has any questions relative to just understanding long and short below VWAP. We do not second guess VWAP. You take the trade. Okay. The next set of trades. Now, again, I'm not using order flow at this point. The next set of trades, right? So if we were short here, now, one of the things you guys should notice in the room, I don't generally try to catch every long or every short. As I said in the beginning, it's easier to trade generally in one direction. Dan, I hope you're out of that trade. It's easier to trade in one direction. Typically, we have been trading longs, though I prefer shorts. I prefer to trade shorts. If you decided to pass on this trade, right? We know that this is our 1 standard deviation, or on the order flow, the 68%. Our long is the move back up through. Okay, that's our long. Candle close above 1 standard deviation. With the goal, again, I'm taking risk off to try to get back to VWAP. Well, to me, it doesn't matter. If I get first target and I go to break even and then start to trail. So if we look at all the other breaks, we broke the 68 here and popped right back up above it, and we go long again to VWAP. We broke the 68 here and popped long above it again, and you get another trade. We broke the 68 here, we close above it here, and gets a small trade. Did not break. We broke the 68 here, and we come back above the 68 here. And it's a big trade. I mean, this is a 1 standard deviation to 1 standard deviation. Okay? We broke the standard, we broke below here and come back up here. Here's the first failed trade. at 9:30. We broke below, we came up through, and it fails. First failed trade of everything we've seen. Here's another one at 8:30. We close above one standard deviation. Yes. Yeah. Any break of VWAP. It doesn't matter if it's NASDAQ, ES, gold, crude, whatever. Now, I prefer the NASDAQ because it has momentum. More momentum than gold. But the philosophy is the same, Scott. Regardless of your delta, the bears are in control below VWAP. The bulls are in control above VWAP. Okay? So if we go back, let's see if we can get anything above. Okay. So here we are above one standard deviation. We trade up almost to two standards. Now we don't get there. Okay. This is a failed short here on a break below one standard deviation with the presumption again that we would trade back down here to VWAP. We don't. It's a losing trade. But we get it again here. We get a retracement, but we do come down to VWAP. And that's the last time we've been up there all day. So these levels, guys, all of these levels afford you trade opportunities depending on what you want to do, longs or shorts. If you're trading in one direction, which is cool, you wait for a trade setup. So right now, I'm in the middle of nowhere. Let's assume I'm only trading longs. Not taking any shorts. Okay? I don't get a trade unless a candle gets back above here. So the only opportunity I have, if I'm only trading long, would be a candle close above one standard deviation, or I get below 2 and I come back up through 2. Now, some of you guys may want to trade both directions, which you can, depending on where you initiate your trade. So if we get along, if I get back up through, I will take a long trade. I got a lot of sellers today, but again, that's irrelevant. I have to assume if I get back up, I'm looking for a push potentially at least back up to resistance. You know, here is going to be resistance, right? We know that. I can see resistance here with these candles, right? This little grouping here. And if we get a trade, we get a trade. And it looks like it kind of wants to. There's just no buyers. But we are sitting on a pivot currently. If I look at my 15-minute and my pivots, I'm sitting on S1. So there is a potential that we get. Now, if I get the full candle close, I'll take the long, right? So let's look at order flow. Here's my 68. I know I've got to get through this little swing here for a continuation trade. But a 30 range candle close above here, and I'm taking the long. Okay, there's my candle close. There's my long. Now let me identify a stop. Well, in this case, it's got to be down here because we don't have many buyers. It happens to line up with my parabolic SAR. Oh, one tick. Really? One tick? Missed by a tick, literally. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, fellas. So I got first target, and the probabilities are I'm going to be at break even and out. Okay? So Veronica asked, where do we place a stop? Well, we always hide behind, if I'm long, I have to hide behind stacked imbalance blues, right? Buyers. If I'm short, I have to hide behind stacked imbalance shorts, right? So in this case, this previous candle does not afford me many stacked imbalances. I have to come all the way down here to find an imbalance, right? So I happen to hide here. Now in this case, again, that's a rather large stop, 34, with an entry that was somewhere up about 51, 17 handles. It's not huge. It's not huge in the NASDAQ. The other option is you guys can use a parabolic SAR, which is free on every platform, and you can use the parabolic SAR. Okay, another candle close. I know, there you go. I want to be long again. I want to be long again. Okay, and let's see what I want to do with a stop. It's the same dang stop. It's the same stop. Oh, another target. Look at that. Will you look at that? 2 trades, 2 winners. Now, if I had runners on, I'd be at break even. I know I have resistance at this pink line that I drew right here, but I'd be at break even, right? I know I'm in a, I don't want to say we're in a significant downtrend. We're obviously, coming lower on the day. We're just in the lower end of this gigantic range we've been in for better than a week. But now I have to start targeting this resistance. If I can get above, give or take 68, I can start targeting up here 84 and then VWAP if I had a runner. Any questions? Any questions, guys? These deviations, or on the order flow, 68s and 95s, as we have them labeled, will be support and resistance. I think everybody in here understands if you are at resistance and come up through, then you have a long. If you are at support and come down through, you have a short. Now I can see, it looks to me like we are building a bit of a little bear flag down here again. So if I flip back down below 1 standard deviation, now I want to be short. Candle close. Now I'm short. So where do I put my stop? Eesh. I have nowhere to hide. I guess I can get away with this here, 61. We're trying to hold the 68. No, we're back above the 68. We're just chopping around in this area. I'm still not convinced we're longs, but we're back into this. This is where I'd probably kill the trade. I have the right stop. I'm hiding behind these sellers over here. It's the best I can do. We are absent many sellers. I'm hiding behind them. This is going to take me out, it looks like. Out. So it's a wash on 3 trades. You can ask as nicely as you want, Scott. I should be back long. I should have flipped into a long. The trend candles are 697. I got programming fees, fellas. See, we traded up into that first area of resistance, right to that pink line. We traded right into the pink line. Any questions, guys? Any questions? If we come back down through this 46, this sells again. That's where I would sell it. So we're always looking to hide any trade we take behind imbalances. That's covered in the earlier videos. If the NASDAQ in this case trades below this previous 5-minute bar, we call that a continuation trade. It's traded above the previous bar. This is a continuation long. This is continuing long. This should work up to 79. Now I can use stack buyer imbalance now if you guys have that auto aspect. And it should go to 79. This ES is on the cusp of making a move. Probably within 5, 10, 15, 20, maybe on the 1 o'clock candle, it gets through this trend line and goes. I think we're setting up to go back up. And here comes 79. Where did I get 79? I didn't get it out of thin air. Right here. Yesterday's low. We should trade give or take 77 to 79. That'll be the next area of real resistance. We got 74. So I'm constantly monitoring different charts. Any questions, fellas? My trend candles are telling me I'm still long. There's no reason to be out of a trade if I were long. This looks like a big W break. A little bit deeper on this pullback, but nonetheless, above here, this 84, this breaks this W and goes. Any questions? No questions, guys? This is what we're going to work on, this stuff. For the next bunch of weeks. Let me ask you, is anybody in the room using order flow every day and comfortable with it? Is there anybody that is not yet comfortable or understanding? I mean, speak now or forever hold your peace, fellas. Okay, good. Scott, Koppel, good. Okay, Steven. I know you are, man. You're doing really well. Guys, this is yeah, I agree. And Joel is working on that now, Veronica. Joel is working on the auto scale. Okay, Nicholas. We finally got him to fix. I finally got him to fix, where we don't have to scroll, but unfortunately, this will, go, but when it gets really crazy, unfortunately, it runs off the dang, it squishes everything and you can't see numbers. But I've got him working on the sizing of the candles. All right, questions, guys. Questions. So you'll notice if this goes up here, I mean, you guys should all have this. If this goes up, it'll stay on the screen. See it? We no longer have to adjust it. It'll stay on the screen. The problem is when it gets hectic, like the first hour, the candles squish up. You can't read them. I want this to auto center more to the center, or, auto scroll closer to the center. Well, you're not missing anything because I have to adjust mine as well. Even though I have this newer version, it's not worth you guys getting yet. I mean, it's fine on the ES, gold, or crude, whatever. But even then, manually, you don't have to do much shifting. But you see how the numbers are getting smaller? It scrolls. He finally figured out, finally figured to get this done. But the numbers are getting smaller and smaller, and you can't read them. And when the market is really fast, you cannot read these. I mean, it looks like this. It gets like this. That's of no help. So I still do this, Dan, so I can read the numbers. ES is a little bit better. All right, so let's take a look and see where we're at. I have no trades in here, guys. I can take, if I want, a continuation long here at 78.50. But we are trading, again, if you're trading using daily pivots, which everyone should be, we're trading right up into yesterday's low. I think we get through that and get back to VWAP and possibly yesterday's close. I think the market should close somewhere around flat to Midland, neither up very much or down. So here's your long again. Couple ticks through here. Call it 79.25. So where would I want my stop? Probably down here at 64, 15 handles if that triggers. It is not, it has to be consecutive, Craig. Well, a continuation trade is merely an eclipse of the previous candle's high or low, depending on long or short. That's a continuation. A breakout trade is a breakout above a daily, I mean, as I term it, a daily high or low, or potentially a range. So for instance, I would say that anything above 85 is a breakout trade. That's the swing high. This is merely a continuation of this long that's trying in here. Well, that ES is probably within a few candles of going. You might be another 5 to maybe 15, 20 minutes. Maybe the 1 o'clock candle gets above this trend line and back above 4,100. You target 11 and 30. I don't know that there are many buyers today, given that tomorrow is CPI. So, I mean, if you're long today as a positional trader, I think you are bananas. My opinion. Tomorrow makes or breaks this market. I currently have all my bots set to sim. So that didn't go. So we have no trade up there. Again, VWAP is the easiest trade we will do. And we got a minute and 25 to go. We're forming a bear flag on the 5 minute. Anything, guys? This is what we're going to work on the next few weeks. Today is, because of CPI tomorrow, we're a little choppy with pretty good net sellers today. Apple is down to 145.88. I told you if it broke 147, it was going to get hit. The only thing holding this market up today is Tesla. That's all I wanted to cover today, guys. This is what we're going to be doing for the next few weeks. You do have a trade. You do have a trade. 79 quarter again. I'm not gassed about it. The price action is sloppy. Now, if we dump down here below 59, we'll trade point of control and probably down to 52. If you guys have areas that you would like to work on in the remaining weeks that we have together, email me those questions and we will work on those. But again, the easiest trade we do is VWAP. That is the easiest trade. Then it's all levels. Trading to or from. All right, fellas, that's all I have. No questions. Makes this pretty easy. Anything before we wrap it up? You're welcome, Veronica. Next week, hopefully we get some better trading and we can find trades. I mean, here's a perfect example. Let me give you an example. Look. Just to show you. This happens to be a 5-minute, but we get a close below VWAP here and we sell. We now have a close above VWAP. Let's use this. This happens to be a 5-minute, which here's a 3-minute on crude. We've basically been trapped all day on crude, flat. You're welcome, Scott. Here's my 15 range that I use. But that depends to where I can find the biggest grouping, Ed. It, could be 2 or 3 candles. This is a 15 range. I get a candle close below VWAP here, and we sell. Got a close below VWAP here, and we sell. I get a small long above VWAP here, and we get a trade. I get another small long above VWAP here, and we get a trade. A small short here, we get a pullback, but then it goes. I'm sorry, that's not VWAP. My apologies. I saw the blue. I come down through VWAP here, and we sell. VWAP is the key, guys. I get this move up, VWAP, candle close here, and we go. Easiest trade. If you only master one trade, VWAP is it. Here we go. ES, if you guys want the ES, on this candle close in 16 seconds, you guys can take an ES trade long with a first target at give or take 10. This should be the last candle that's pushing this trend line. There you go. Your 5-minute trend candles are green. Your stop has to be probably 93. It's only 7 handles. And this should now work up to value area high, and it may be as high as 30 into the end of the day. I am not taking any more trades today in any account personally. If you guys have made your day and made money, I suggest you keep your money. Tomorrow's another day, guys. And 8:30 tomorrow, we have news, major news. So don't do, I don't suggest you run any bots. Bear with me 1 second back, guys. All right, fellas. It's 12:46. I'm going to wrap this up. But pay attention to VWAP. If there's anybody that for some reason in this room does not have that current day VWAP indicator, let me know. I'll send it to you. Everyone should have it.